right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time you're watching us right now. Thank you for joining us on this special webinar today.
Depending on the time you're
Sorry,
watching us
excuse
right
me.
now. Thank you for joining.
Okay, my name is Ambassador Esther Anastasia Ilukholor, and I have with me today an amazing woman. Like I said in the video I did before, I can't wait for this session. I myself, I am ready to learn. So I enjoin you all to also do the same. I'll be bringing her up on stage shortly. But before I do that, I'd like to read a little bit about her, just a brief introduction about who we're about to interact with. So we know the gravity of the individual that is coming on board to speak to us today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Madam Mercy Okoduwa-Onaiwu. Mercy is a distinguished technology professional, career coach, and faith-based communicator whose faith spans through technology, leadership, mentorship, and personal development. Academically, she has consistently demonstrated excellence, graduating with a first class Bachelor of Engineering and further earning two master's degree with distinction, one in information technology and the other in IT project management. Professionally, Mercy has built an impressive career in software quality engineering and testing, working across the financial technology industry and now serving as a test specialist in Canada. Our expertise includes software quality assurance, test automation, process improvements, and delivering reliable, high quality digital solutions. Beyond our professional accomplishments, Mercy is deeply passionate about helping people discover and maximize their potential. As a peer and career coach, she has mentored aspiring and experienced professionals alike, guiding them through career transitions, interview preparations, personal branding, and professional growth. And coaching is driven by a genuine desire to see people succeed and thrive. Above all, Mercy is a devoted Christian, a loving wife, and someone whose life is anchored in her love for God and people. Whether it is building software, mentoring professionals, or speaking about faith, our mission remains the same: to inspire excellence, foster growth, and leave people better than she found them. Please join me to welcome my own mama, like I used to call her. I want to call her pastor, but today we are not doing church. My own mama, Pastor. Oh, it came out. I can't even hold it. Pastor Mercy Okoduwa-Onaiwu. Good day, ma.
Good day from here. How are you doing today?
I'm very, very, very fantastic. It's amazing to have you here today. I'm so
And
blessed. We are all so blessed to have you here today.
it's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege. I hope whatever I say today, I hope it's gonna be useful to one or two persons.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, ma. And I'm very sure that someone is going to benefit a lot from this. So if you're listening and you have questions, you can start putting them up. But there are already some questions that, based on interactions with people who have shown interest in this webinar, are dropped. And I'll start asking them one after the other. Hope that's fine, ma.
Sure.
Okay, with no further ado, let's go into the question. So the first question I have here today, Ma, can you walk us through your journey What was the turning point and that positioned you, that what was the turning point that positioned you to become a choice candidate for international opportunities? And what did you have to unlearn along the way? Hmm.
That's that's a lot. Um, all right, so it's where do I start from? I'm not going to tell you that there's a certain point that sort of like changed the course of my career or that positioned me one way or the other. I'm going to say that of every stage that I passed through to where I am now were actually part of the processes that got me here. I started my career as, in fact, let's say financial analyst in Interswitch in Nigeria, and there I just after after NYC and all of that, I was just there. Don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just there learning the ropes and just understanding what they are doing. Because, for example, I finished as an engineer, right? So you would think maybe I wanted to go and do core engineering. So I found myself in the fintech space. So, but I think what really matters more was the fact that I was ready to learn at every stage that I was, right? And I started realize I was focusing on sort of like building competence rather than trying to say that, okay, because I'm an engineer, I want to do engineering from beginning, right? So over time, of course, you get to interact with people, you get to meet people, like I said, every stage of where I was actually led me to where I am now. So over time, I kind of like realized that even for international opportunities, which is what we're going to be talking about today, don't necessarily just come to the most qualified people. You can be very qualified and still not, get all those things. So sometimes you have to like, they usually come to those who sort of like clearly demonstrate their value on a global stage. So you must be able to sort of like demonstrate your value. But before you can even demonstrate your value in a global stage, you have to develop your value from where you are. You see why I say that every step and every stage that I was sort of like led me to where I am. So that realization sort of like became a turning point for me because I realized that I had to become more intentional about continuously trying to improve my skills, right? And in of course, qualifications are important because you need some of these qualifications to even like put you in places that you want to be. So I started tailoring some of my portfolios, for example, the CV and all of those things to international standards, doing a lot of research. So all of those things sort of like, led to this moment. But I think one of the biggest thing I had to sort of like unlearn was um that hard work alone is enough. I think I had to learn that belief. Now, hard work is very important. You have to work hard, of course, but there is something called smart working. You have to work smart, right? So hard work is important, but visibility, the way you communicate, the way you position yourself are as equally important as well as hard work because you can be very hardworking and not be seen. You can be very hardworking and not be known. So it's important that you are not just hardworking, but you're ensuring that you're positioning yourself in such a way that you are visible as well, right? Because if you are exceptional but you cannot communicate your value in a way that, let's say, employees understand, opportunities are going to pass you. So, in a nutshell, I think sort of like becoming, should I say, becoming a choice candidate wasn't really about becoming someone different. It wasn't really about, just having everything in place and all of that. It was more about being intentional about, presenting the best version of who I was and ready to be committed, to learn, to adapt, and of course, trusting God through the process. So, in a nutshell, I hope that answered your question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hope I'm audible now.
Yeah, you are. Can hear you now.
All right. I said yes. That is really I got the point and I was taking some notes. I think what really struck me is the part when you said hard working alone is not enough. You had to unlearn that hard working alone is not enough. We need to work smart. We need to learn how to communicate better and also learn how to position ourselves. So, and also to be very intentional about what we do. So I want to believe that there was a certain time you just decided that you want to get an international job, then you intentionally positioned yourself well to get the job. Hope I'm correct.
Well, I didn't. When I relocated, I didn't relocate because I had a job. So,
Okay.
so I guess okay. Let me just say this before we get to the other questions. So
Okay.
a lot of times people ask all sort of questions about relocating. "Ah, I want to leave Nigeria. Oh, I who is hiring? Which country is the best to go to? All of those things are valid questions, right? They are valid
Mm-hmm.
questions to ask, but they are not the most important questions because you want to go somewhere, but you also want to be useful wherever you go.
Very
So
cool.
the
True.
one question behind every answer that we're going to have tonight is all about if an employer has hundreds of qualified applicants, why should it be you, right? So, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to say about there are different ways that you can, that you can get offer. Different ways. It could be through direct applications. It could be through, networking and referrals. It could be through graduate programs. It could be through company transfer. Like there are people whereby they are probably working in Nigeria and their company wants to expand and they are selected to be part of those that go and expand in a different place. But for you to be selected to be part of those that go and expand in a different, you must be first of all visible in where you are. You see what I was talking about? That every stage and every phase that you are in is part of your process to getting to where you want to be. So there are different aspects of it. It's not just about focusing on relocating. I think that's where a lot of us sort of like miss it, where we're just focusing on, oh, I want to leave Nigeria, I want to leave Nigeria. It's not always, it should be more than that. It should be, how should I make myself employable? That should be the thing you are. So yeah, I didn't relocate because I had a job. I relocated through other relocation means like I did the express entry for Canada and PR applications and all of that. So it was when I came to Canada, I applied for jobs. So yeah, I guess as we go on, we're going to see and learn a lot
Hmm.
about that process. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Um, okay, so this last thing you just said just brought up a question in my mind.
Okay.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah, can hear you.
Yeah. I know express entry is it's very competitive. It's it's a lot. So still like in the same question we asked when it had to do with the job, what do you think was your strongest point that gave you high points to be able to scale through?
So there is no one thing because everything in the express entry application links up to what gives you points, right? Having a relative in Canada, for example, gives you points, but not everyone has that. So should that shortchange someone else? No, right? Having perfect IS scores gives you very good points, but that alone will also keep you here, right? So your
Yeah.
professional career gives you points. The what is it called? The choice of career you are in also gives you because it's not all career that sort of like had advantage when it comes to relocating via express entry, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's also being able to um should I use the word polish? I don't want to be misquoted. So it's sort of like being able to polish your career path in such a way that it becomes relevant, even when in its nutshell it looks as if it's not relevant. For example, let's say um you are, what's the example I can use now, for example? Let's say you're just someone that answers calls in the office, a secretary, right? A secretary.
Yes.
And you might not necessarily see that as a knock in express entry. But being a secretary, actually, you are learning so much the way you communicate. It means that you could actually be a virtual assistant. It means that you can actually be even, an assistant, like in the grand scheme of things. So how you actually, polish your experiences because different companies call different roles different things. You could have the same role here. It's called QA tester. Another place is QA engineer. Another place is software tester. Or do you understand? But being able to
Yes.
sort of like sublime in such a way that it's relevant also matters. But I think the most important thing is this: don't copy a path, because every path is different. Because someone else has followed this particular path, it doesn't mean that you must pass through that. It's okay to try to understand it, to see if it's something that could be of value for you, or could help you do that if you do that path. But there's no, like, don't try copying paths. Just try to see from what you have, what will benefit you most, and how you will stand out the most.
Hmm. Interesting. Thank you very much, Ma.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so the next question I have here is, for a student in Abuja right now with no diaspora connection, what specific steps should they take in the next 90 days to make their CV, their LinkedIn, and their portfolio ready for international opportunities?
I'm guessing this is not just about students in Abuja, right?
Yes,
Um,
it's just that this one was the way the person decided to put it out.
yeah, okay. So I guess um, there's something I call FPR, right? F stands for foundation, right? P stands for proof, and R stands for reach, right? So you could have like a 90-day plan, right? Like what the person asked. And in the first 30 days, you're trying to create some foundations around your CV, around your LinkedIn, around your portfolio. So what are you trying to do at this point? This point, you're trying to rewrite your CV in an impact format, right? The reason I said
Yes.
30 days, that a lot of times what happens is that people rush to do their CVs, and they make it so generic that employers are not attracted to what you have. And they make it so
Mm,
generic that they send the same CV everywhere, whereas you're supposed to tailor your CV to the specific application you are doing. So instead of having one generic CV, right, that you are sending to 200 employers, why not have 20 tailored CV that you send to 20
mm,
specific employers? Do you understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
I have a generic CV, and there are so many. If you go to LinkedIn today, people are looking for employees, right? There's always
Yes.
an opening. There's always and yet people are saying there's no job, but there's always an opening, right? And you're like, there's
Mm,
always an opening, but there's unemployment. Does that go hand in hand? Not necessarily, but so instead of trying to rush and just apply, do a tailored CV. So use that first 30 days as a foundation where you rewrite your CV, you sort of like, in an impact format, like in such that it's showing your results, not duties. A lot of times people write their CV to say, my responsibilities include this. No, you need to be looking at result. Like you need to
mm,
tailor your CV in such a way that it speaks results, not responsibility. Anybody can come and do your job if taught. So that's what responsibility is. Responsibility can shift to someone else, and that person could probably equally do it. But result is not something that can be claimed by someone else. It's what you have done. So you have to like put your CV in that impact format. Then that 30 days as well, you're also looking at your LinkedIn, because these days LinkedIn is like the first interview. Most of the times, like your first interview that you are not there, that speaks on your behalf. So how your LinkedIn looks like is also very important. The headline, what is there, the plain English, the value. Like if I see your CV, how attracted I am to, okay, let me even go a step further to reach out to see if it's someone that will be fit for my company. Do you get? So
yeah.
that 30 days, while you are trying to gather some of these things, it might look like 30 days is too much, you just write CV now. No, that's why I'm saying that you must, be intentional. From beginning, I told you about my journey. It changed because I became more intentional about myself, about my value, and about my worth, right? So
Yeah.
that's the first thing you do in the foundation stage, the first 30 days. Now you're looking at the next, like the 31 to 60 days, because the question was about 19 days, right? Now in
Yes.
that 31 to 60 days, you are trying to look at, let's say, based on what you do, try to do like a minor publishing. It could be 2 to 3 pieces of something publicly. And LinkedIn is a very good place that just gets you out there, that people are always there. So post stuff on your LinkedIn to talk about what you have done. Don't just go to ChatGPT to just help you, copy and paste stuff. No, something that you have really done, right? So publish some of those in your real work, then join communities in that 30, the next 31 to 60 days. Try to look for communities that align with your field, and try to contribute there. Join, even though it's just one, just pick one that is useful to your field, and then just join it and try to be useful there and contribute. Then the next one is try to line up references. Now, I guess we're going to get there later, but when you look at references, most of the times is when the people need it. That's when they go and look for references.
Yes.
Usually it's about networking and um relationships. It shouldn't be when you need it. Is when you are trying to now look for, it's already among your circle. So that means if you are not very good at communication, you're not very good at networking, you're not very good at relationships, your reference people, for people to do reference for you, there will be no personal attachment for them trying to do something good for you. To just be, okay, I will just help now, let not look as if I don't want to help. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
also try to create those relationships, so that when it's time, when you need it, you already have people you can easily reach out to, and they will get you references. For example, I graduated from Uniben about 10 years ago, right? 2016. As I am today, if I need any reference from my lecturers and all of that, I know that there is one or two lecturers I can call and I'll get my reference by tomorrow, because of relationship that have been built. I've kept this relationship even when I don't necessarily need them per se, but I've kept this
Mm.
relationship because they are people need to know that they are important to you, not just because when you need them, right? So that's where the proof, the 31 to 60. Then the last one is the reach, right? So now is when you are trying to send quality applications. Like I said earlier, it's quality over quantity, quality over volume. It's not about sending a generic CV to 1,000 employers, right? It's about sending quality tailored CV to specific employers. So it means if you have 20 people you want to, in that next 61 to 90 days, if you have 20 people you would like to work in their company, research about the company, know more about them, look at yourself, your worth, your value, what can you bring to this company? Because you need to think of this, it's not charity. People employ you because they want someone to come do something for them. That's why they can employ you and they can pay you. So you must show that you are of value to that place. So you need to start looking at employment as, how can I be of value to this place I want to apply to? So that's why you don't just apply randomly. You look at the companies, you research about them, you see what you carry and how it can be of value to them. You tailor your CV around that, and then you send your applications. Then, of course, you start looking at genuine outreach. Is, like I said, from referrals or references. It's first about genuine relationship before trying to ask for stuff. You know, and then you try tracking your nose, because in this process you're still going to get rejections, right? So you have to start tracking why you were rejected and try to fix the pattern. So that's basically how I think you can utilize 90 days to your
So
advantage.
we have the FB Hour
Yeah, foundation, proof, and reach. FPR.
foundation proof and reach. All right, thank you, Ma. We have a question in the comment section. This
Okay.
person says, thank you, Ma. Is it true that Canada CV don't need your date of birth and other basic information we do add to our CV?
Generalizing as Canada. But the truth is that, see, it depends on your stage, right? For example, there's a stage you get to in your professional career that even what you did in the first year of your this thing will not be so relevant. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
because you don't want your CV to be more than maybe 2 pages. So imagine someone that has 10 years experience and has worked in 4, 5 different companies, since NYSC, right, down to now. And your CV should be quality, so it doesn't have to mention everything you did from that 10 years. So you have to like pick, there's where you have to isolate the important ones and start even picking them. That means that nobody even cares about your age at that point.
Hmm.
Do you get? But if you are just someone starting out, what do you have? apart from the school you went, apart from that you are young, so that they will know that you are malleable, you are teachable. That's what I'm saying. So it
So,
actually depends on the stage of your career. So the higher you go in your career, the less important even your BSc becomes. Sometimes even putting BSc there, no, it will just be masters put there. Do you understand? Even putting, like when we started out, for example, I remember when I was just fresh out of school, my secondary school was my CV. My university was in my CV. My NYC was in my CV. No, I don't even know if my BSc is in my CV. It's just my master's. But yeah, so BSc could be important. But
my secondary school is still my CV.
so yeah, so it depends on the stage you are in your career that determines what is important. But yeah, birthday is not necessary, except you have applications that are telling you that they need specific age range. So those ones will be interested in your age. And if you don't put it, they might see it as a red flag because you don't want to tell them. That means probably you are not within the age bracket that they are looking for.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you very much, Ma. Okay, the next question. Thank you, Ma. I'm sure there were rejections before the breakthroughs. What was your lowest moment and what mindset or strategy helped you push through the next international offer? Hmm, this is personal.
Rejections are part of life, dear.
Hmm.
There's nobody that have not been rejected. Even CEOs today have been rejected, right? It's just that the more you get acquainted with all these things, probably the less you might have rejections.
Hmm.
The first thing I would like to say is that don't treat rejection as a bad thing. A no really means you are not good enough. It really means you will never make it. It really means it's because of where you are from or because of sometimes it just means that someone has a closer fit at this time than you. It just means that sometimes someone is better or someone showed more competence than you
Mm-hmm.
did. Sometimes it just shows that maybe they have even changed their budget and they are no longer, maybe they needed two people before, now it's just one and you just didn't cut it. Sometimes it just means that their priority has changed after posting. Do you understand? So
Yes.
so you don't always treat a no as something that just keeps you down and gets you demotivated and all of those things. So this is how we advise you to treat rejections because I also had to do that. When I came to Canada, for example, the first 1 month, oh my God, I got rejections. They became my meal, right? But I had to look at it as a feedback. So I treated every rejection as a feedback, not a verdict. It wasn't a verdict that was not good enough because I knew my worth. That's why it's important to know your value. See, the truth is this: when you are not good at what you do, there's nobody else that will tell you more than yourself. You know if you are good at what you do or not. That's the truth. No matter how you try to like polish it or make it look good, you know within yourself if you are good at what you do or if you are not, or if you are just trying to be better. Do you get? So
Yeah.
treating rejection as is my enemies or the village, people don't want me to succeed in life, all those things. If you know, see it as a feedback. It's not a verdict. It's not a verdict of not being good enough. It's not a verdict of you will never make it. It's not a verdict that you will never get a job. No. So as you are getting those rejections, there are things you can do. There are times where when I got rejection, I had to send emails to like know what was the main reason why I was not fit for this role. Maybe one or two responded. Not everybody will respond back to you because they have a lot of applications. They can't keep responding to everybody. You also need to understand that they have so many applications. So they cannot just be responding to you. You are not the most important person alive. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
you have to understand that. So treat it as a feedback. If you are able to get response, very good, because it means that you will know where to start from to fix the pattern, right? But if you are not
Yeah.
able to also hear replies, it's also fine, right? Because
So that one is so
sometimes
painful.
it can be painful. That's part of life. But there are some common ones that might give you some idea. For example, if you don't have any reply at all, like you've applied for a job, you didn't get a reply at all. Sometimes it means that your CV was the problem, meaning it didn't even cross, because some companies have some places that their CV cross before it even gets to the hiring managers. So it means
Okay.
that your CV didn't even cross that step. So it means
Wow.
it's probably a problem with your CV. Then if you got an interview, but you didn't get an offer, right? Most times what that means is probably evidence or your communication, right? So this is what I
Hmm.
mean by you have to treat your rejection as a feedback, not a verdict, right? So you're going to be looking at it that, okay, at least they called me for interview, meaning my CV was good enough to be, called to show myself, right? But I went to
Yeah.
show myself, probably how I expressed myself was not good enough, right? The evidence of what I showed as proof. Remember, I said FPRO. So the proof part that
Yeah.
determines what was on my CV, that shows that the me now that shows what I had on my CV, I probably couldn't defend it as much as I could have, right? Or even communication. Let me give you a simple fact here. It was when I got to Canada that I realized that some interviews are like you're gisting. Sometimes some
Hmm.
interviews they're just looking at, are you communicating well, are you rapporting? Like sometimes they even ask maybe just one or two questions about the actual work itself. But every other thing, they're just like I had an interview where someone was telling me about their vacation. And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
a
I'm trying
bit.
to survive. Right? Yeah. So that means your communication, how you are, because sometimes you are so tense and you even forget everything you wanted to show. Not cram so much, show your value, right? So sometimes when you have interviews and you don't have offers, it probably just means you couldn't prove as much evidence, or someone provided a better evidence than you did, or the communication as well was a problem. Then
Hmm.
maybe you got interview one, two, three, four. Maybe there are some companies it could be four interviews, it could be three interviews, right? The
Mm-hmm.
company I am in right now, I think I went through four different interview stages, right? Some were virtual, some were in person. You can see how exhausting it could be. I think it took over 3 months, right? No, was it 3 months or 4 months? Yeah, anyway, something like that. So, but when you get to that final stage and then you now get, oh, at this time we could not, blah, 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 blah. What it means is that you were close, or probably you were just not the right fit, or maybe the timing, right? So it means
Yeah.
you should not feel down. Yes, of course you want a job or something, but see it as like, okay, you were close. Oh, okay, something is coming closer. You were close. You did something right to get to that stage. So just carry yourself and keep pushing. That's how I would advise anybody to treat rejection. You have to treat it with resilience until you get what
Hmm.
you want. Don't go down.
Thank you very much, mom. Until you get what you want, there is no stopping.
No,
Okay, mom.
nobody's gonna help you.
Ha, that's deep. Oh. It sounds
Nobody's
like a simple
gonna help you.
um, sentence, but it's something that is still being debated. Some people say, "Oh, I'm waiting for someone, and one day I know help is going to come." Some people say
Of
nobody's
God.
going to help. So, which one are we going to believe?
So look
Can't
at
both
it
work
this way.
together.
At the end of the day, before you even get to a point where someone can come, um, so you have to be realistic with yourself.
Okay.
Most of the times, we're talking about international jobs. Now let me even go local, Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria, you can see times where people could get a bit of push if they are connected, right? Depending on the families that they are from, right? They could
Yes.
get connections. But I'm very sure that the people on this call are probably not people in those categories. So
Hmm.
you need to understand where you need to have a reality check. Where do you stand? Do you have anyone that can mention your name where you are not and it will make waves, or you don't? Right? So you need to know where you stand. You need to have a reality check. And when you know that, it means that you have to work every pieces as best as you can. But remember, God always, right? It's always very
Yeah.
important. And the reason I say that is because, like, before I relocated this time, I've been in Canada now for like 2 years, right? I had opportunities to have relocated before, like even in 2017, 2019, right? I didn't go. It was a choice that I made because while I was working with God in that process, He instructed me that it was in time. Now I would have gone through school and all of, maybe I would have gone through school, maybe I would have ended up so stressed out trying to from school get papers. But now I went and I don't even have stress. My PRO is with me, and in the next 1 year, I'm a citizen, easy as peasy, right? But if I had gone because everybody was relocating, this is what I was telling you, that you must understand that your path is different from every other person. If I had wanted to like relocate, oh, first class, now you had opportunities, scholar. If I had wanted to like just relocate because everybody was doing it, maybe my story would have been a different thing, right? So it is important to always have God in every aspect. Let me not start preaching, but like it's always it's
Great.
important to like it's important to sort of like know what is God's saying about your destination, because most of the times what we do is give God a destination and then start asking Him for to help us with direction. God should be the one to give you a destination. It's not the other way around, right? So opportunities can come that you even have to say no. You have to be the one to reject it. If not just, yes, of course, we all need money and all of those things, but it's important to know what God wants you to do at a certain time, right? So
Yes.
I guess that's basically just it. So if you know where you are in your reality check, and do you have anybody around you that if you just know, just hold yourself, work hard, as knowing that God is above, of course, then just be doing your things, setting so that when opportunity comes, you are ready. Don't prepare yourself when opportunity is already there to pass you. You have to prepare yourself before even opportunities come.
Okay, speaking of opportunities now, I want to ask this next question. We have a lot of talented youths in Nigeria, but many of us, let me add myself because I'm in Nigeria too, we are invincible, honestly. We are working hard, but I don't know if it's we're not working enough. We are not just being seen. How did you build your own visibility and credibility that opportunities found you, even before you started applying for the express entry and um, before you got the lead in that it was time to move abroad?
Okay, I will start first with answering a certain part, right?
Okay.
Now, there is this fear that because of where I'm from, I'll be overlooked, right? Let's say I'm in Nigeria, so because I'm from Nigeria, I'll be overlooked. So the first job I had when I came here, when I joined the company, I had to ask the hiring manager, what was the reason because I know we're quite a number of people that applied to the job, of course. So like, what was the reason picked me as one of the persons you employed? And she said there was one thing I said about trying, like I was questioning them so much on what is the issue the company have right now, right? That's what she
Mm-hmm.
said. Oh, can't even remember. But
Mm.
she said I was questioning them on what is exactly the issue they have now that they are trying to solve and how can I help? I kept asking them, how can I help? And she said that for some reason that just got her because it was
Wow.
looking like I wasn't just coming because I just wanted a job. It was like I was intentional about trying to fix something that they're probably struggling with. So I kept asking, what was the issue the company was going through at the moment? And if I come, how can I help? Right? So
Mm.
that was what for her, she said, all stood out that made, I was even the last person to be interviewed, funny enough, but that made them to,
Wow.
like you said, no, they need to pick me. Now, like I say, but when I joined, there was this conception about, because I asked her, and she was like, now there is this because of how the corruption of Nigeria makes global scale. Like that's why how we use our social media is very important. We should not always be propagating that we are corrupt. I'm not saying don't say the truth though, but I'm saying that it has a way of having some negative effect even to us. Because if you are propagating so much that Nigeria is corrupt, it will be hard for people to believe in what you have. Because if you say you have done this, you have done people in Nigeria, is it really because you did it or you made someone to do it for you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now, but the truth is you can't control their bias, right? but you can
Mm-hmm.
make yourself undeniable. So when I joined, after I left that company to where I am now, I became a reason why they were not interested in employing people from Nigeria. Even till
Yeah.
today, sometimes I reach out to my previous managers. They employed like two, three other persons from Nigeria. They were no longer having that bias they initially had because they had some experiences before and they were not pleased. But when I came and I joined that company, I made sure that it wasn't just about me. I wanted to ensure that next time they meet other people, they sort of like have faith and have hope that yes, there are people from this identity and this background that are actually good at what they do. So now I created like a space for other people that might not even know I existed,
Yeah.
but they won't know that that was one of the reasons why they were probably even considered. But imagine I had just, oh, I've gotten the job, thank God, and I'm just doing normal, like plug and play normal thing. I'm not trying to be doing something extra to show that our background is not what defines us, right? So what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is that you can't control anybody's bias, but you can make yourself undeniable. So what are some of the things I started doing? I was very resourceful because the truth is that our background is an edge.
Hmm.
Nigeria is an edge. I don't see it as a lot of times the problem is that we're seeing it as an issue because we are from Nigeria. No, it's actually an edge because you are in one of the largest markets. It means that if you have worked in Nigeria, you have operated in one of the world's most dynamic competitive markets. And if you have been able to survive and strive in Nigeria, it means that you are probably good, right? Then resourcefulness. Like when I was working in Interswitch at a time, there were times where I had to have grit and adaptability because like under real constraints, like oh okay, settlement time, this one, I had to really like, so it taught me how here, if I want to do overtime, they won't even let you do overtime. They want you to ensure that you have work-life balance. Nigeria taught us don't have work-life balance. Work and kill yourself. So it's an edge. Do you understand? Now, because now it's like
Mm.
sometimes I'm working so that sometimes I talk to my husband, like it's like I'm just waiting, it's like I'm not doing anything. Because they make you doing something that you're just chilled to some extent that you are doing your work, oh, but not that you have to like prove that you are doing overtime to show that you are working. But in Nigeria, somehow by default, you have to come early, you have to leave late so that your manager will know that you have been in the company. Are you getting what I'm saying? But here it's
Yes.
different. But all those things sort of like build your resilience, it builds your grit. So tomorrow, for example, let's say there's something that needs to be done here, and they're like, can people come and work, extra overtime? They will pay you. I will raise up my hand because I'm used to it.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So your background is an edge. So never see it as a disappointment. Then the fact that we have cross-cultural fluency, you can already navigate different because when you're traveling or you relocate, you're going to be meeting different people, right? So, and
Yes.
Nigeria alone is already a mix of different people. A Benin person in Lagos is a different land. It's like relocating, even though we don't see it like that because you don't need visa. A Benin person in Abuja is relocation, even though you might not see it like that because you don't need visa. But the fact that you can survive among Hausas, among Yorubas, among Igbos, among Ijos, that's already the fact that you're cross-cultural. And when you relocate to another country, it gives you an edge too because you are used to it. It might be different color of skin, but actually it's still the same thing in terms of adaptability, right? And
Yes.
then you can't allow bias to shrink your evidence. You have to lead with results because whether we like it or not, we might not be as developed as we want to be, but we are developed enough that the skill that we have over there is useful here. So make your
Wow.
identity become a contest. Don't make it a caveat or a disappointment and age. So
Hmm.
that's how I can advise anybody really.
Thank you very much, ma'am. This thing you
You're welcome.
just said, it brought this song to my head. I don't know if you know it now. Canada. Canada. They
Oh
said,
my
I think I don't really remember the name of the lyrics of the song, but there's this part that say, "You and I, say." Da, 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 da." Apparently, Canada has been the country helping Nigerians. So I want you to help us confirm: is it as good as they make it seem, or is there a bit of overhyping. Because the first time I heard that song, I was first asking, was it a Nigerian in Canada that sang that song, or a Nigerian that have been to Canada and came back to Nigeria? So I want to understand because a lot of people resonate to that song. So please let us know. Is it as good as they make it seem, or is there a little bit of hype?
When you say good, what's your definition of good?
My definition of good, I'll start with the one you mentioned, the fact that overtime is not what they would not want you to work overtime. Once the
Okay.
work-life balance over there, and the standard of living, basically, are you really working and getting what you want from, are you really getting the worth of your work? And is it a good place to raise up a child? And what is the um, I don't want to use the word religious, but is it a morally friendly place to raise a family?
Mm. Oh, that's a lot in one. So will you consider Nigeria as a good place to live?
Yeah, to some
Pers-
extent.
Personally, I did. Right now, I know that there are issues. I know that
Yes.
there are some parts that have major insecurities, even though there is insecurity in all parts,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some parts that have more of that, right? I know that when
Yes.
it comes to opportunities, there are some parts that have less of those opportunities. I also know when it
True.
comes to standard of life, there are some parts that have less of the standard of life. Now, what am I trying to say? Every place has its own ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
But what differentiates people is you as an individual and your mindset. When I was in Nigeria, I was living well and I was living good. So the best of my own knowledge. I don't know about other people. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes the issue always what happens most of the time is comparison, right? Comparison, trying to get to, something faster, trying
Yes.
definitions of what and you have succeeded mean. Success means different things to different people. So
True.
sometimes success is not just having a car. For some people, it's having more than that. It's not just having a house, it's having more than that. So what am I trying to say in a nutshell? Canada is a good place, right? But just like every other country, it has its own issues, right? Um, Nigeria, you enjoy taxes now. Here, you're going to, it's not like you pay tax, you can't escape it because there is data. But the difference is that you have to, your taxes are working, right? Like the light is there, even though you're still paying utility bills, funny enough, but at least your taxes are working, the good roads and all of those things. So the reason why you hear that song, Canada, Canada, because there is a clear path to citizenship in Canada than a lot of other countries. UK
Mm.
frustrates you with paper. US can frustrate you with paper. Canada has a clear path. If you follow the clear path judiciously and you are, diligent and you're doing all you need to do, you know that you're definitely going to get to that point because there's a clear path, right? But some countries don't give you that clear path. And that
Mm-hmm.
that passport is a very important it's a
Very,
very
very.
important because it opens doors to other places to you, right? So I think one of the major reasons why people associate so much is because there's a clear path. Now, in terms of raising family and all of that, don't bother about time. It's fine. I know you're looking at it. Uh, um,
Thank you.
in terms of raising family and all of that, I would say so. We're in a world now that a lot of things. In fact, for example, in Nigeria, they pass a bill that if you preach in the bus, you pay 50,000. But yeah, is that not Nigeria? So
Certain states, yes.
exactly. So the truth is that there will always be places that does not necessarily conform to your maybe your belief system or your religious values because
Mm-hmm.
we are cross-cultural. There are a lot of people that do different things and believe in different stuff. But in terms of raising family, it depends on you and your family. Even as Nigerians, you can be in Nigeria and raise bad people. You can be in Nigeria and raise good people. So the same thing abroad. You can be abroad. There are churches here, of course. There are mosques. There are shrines for Buddha and all of that. You see all those things the same way. So it depends on you really on how you want to get some opportunities and utilize something. So that's how I can answer it for you.
So do you
Wherever you
agree?
are, you can make
So
it
you
a
don't
good
agree to that
place.
song? Should we go and look for the
That
person
was,
that Canada is the one that has helped Nigeria the most?
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I don't have
Nigeria.
the statistics. It's statistics that will show that. But when I came here, I've met people that have been here for years and legitly, right? They have been so
Mm-hmm.
grateful to. But I can tell you that even in that same Nigeria, there are people. Do you know there are people that relocate to Nigeria, by the way? Sure, you know. There are people that relocated to Nigeria. Nigeria has been better than where they are from some other African countries. So
True, very
I guess
true.
that's the truth. So I think sometimes we're just, we don't really value what we have so much. Of course, let's not go to the government. So, but yeah, um, what I'm just trying to say is that you can be in any way and you can succeed and you can really have a good life depending on what you want and how you want it done.
So
So the
Abraham's
song is
very
right in
own.
his own way,
The song is right in his own way.
in
So
its own
whoever wants
way.
to believe it should believe it.
You said whoever wants to what?
Whoever wants to believe it should believe it.
It's right in its own way because people definitely
Yeah.
sang it because of the statistics they have. Like in my own way, I can
Yeah.
tell you yes, because the network that I have, Canada has been very good to them. But I also know some other network that it hasn't been so fair to them. So how do I rationalize it? So it depends.
There's no way to really scale it to know
There's no
the
statistics, but yeah,
actual.
the most important part is that paper. You don't want to travel to a place and you're having paper issues. You don't want to. It's draining. You can't even
So,
focus on your life or your career.
so now we know that Canada is one of the stress. Not like it's not stressful, but it has a clearer pathway to getting papers compared to
It
the
has a
UK.
clearer path, but it's very hard.
Hmm.
You can get it if you work towards it. There's a clear path, so it's about okay. You have to do this to do this. If you do it well, you do it. You get it. But it's not everybody that can do it because it's not everybody that can pass IELTS. It's not everybody that can pass French. It's not everybody that will do masters. It's not everybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? But there's a clear path to
And it's
to
highly
getting it.
competitive.
Oh, sure. Because it's a clear path. What do you think? There's going to be more
Hmm.
demand and more supply rather. So
Okay, so I have two more questions for you.
okay,
I just want to read this comment that Abraham very own placed on the comment section. It's
okay.
based on what you said earlier. You said what differentiates you is you as an individual. You said it sounds simple, but it's heavy. I'm sure it hits you like, this is Rema. Thank you very much. So, my next question is the global market is shifting with AI and automation. What are the top two or three skills or certifications you believe will make a Nigerian youth a choice candidate in the next 3 years? And when I'm talking about choice candidates now, we're making it not just job, we're also looking at that express entry route.
Yeah, like you said, automation and AI is what reshaping the market. There are a lot of stats around there about in the next couple of years, it could really dominate the market, right? So it means that whatever skill you have now, you should be able to, look for skills that are also AI inclined, such that you consistently become relevant, right?
Yeah,
So I think the first thing you want to do is to be fluent with AI. You have to work with tools. Of course, might be fluent with ChatGPT, but trust me, there are even people that are more fluent in how they use ChatGPT than just the regular one. So there's something they
true.
call, for example, prompt engineering. Even how you prompt an AI determines the result you will get. If you prompt an AI as just a novice, it's going to give you a novice response. For example, what is my name, right? Or what is his name, or is yellow, is black, right? You can just put that and it will show you something, right? But if you
Yeah,
tailor it and say, for example, you understand, like you are telling the
yeah,
AI to assume a personality. You are saying, for example, as a professional in Nigerian students and youth, blah 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 blah, right? I want you to create blah, blah. So you are giving that AI a persona so that he knows what he should think of when he's trying to tailor a response to you. Now that's called prompt engineering, for example. So you want to sort of like have some fluency in AI, work with tools. Now also building AI. Now there's so many ways where you have advantage where you can actually build with AI. You can even automate your own system. In fact, I have a
Mm.
friend that I've used AI to do also. So right now, AI is what applies for LinkedIn jobs for him. So he created an agent such that the agent goes through his LinkedIn jobs application and all of that, tailor his CV to suit each of those application, and then you get that's he
Oh
built
my
that agent. But the
goodness.
skill of building the agents, you can't take it away
Mm-hmm.
from him, even though it's AI that is doing the application. He's just removing the human effort, right?
Mm.
So the
Yes.
edge isn't AI versus you. It
Mm.
is you with AI as you without. Do you
Oh,
understand what I'm saying? What we are just doing most
yes.
of the times is what we are doing most of the times is AI is going to take our jobs. Like we are competing with AI. No, we have moved past that. You can't compete with AI. Just accept it and move on with life. What you can do, you can work with AI. If you work without AI, trust me, you're going to become less and less relevant. But you can work
Mm.
with AI. So the first thing you have to choose is AI fluency, working with AI. Now, you have to understand that there's durability in human skills. There's some things that AI cannot copy. It can't copy judgment because at the end of the day, AI is still a human built system. It's people that built those things. So there's always that bias, right? So
Yeah.
AI can copy judgment, problem framing, communication. Of course, now they are getting so advanced. There are even Android AIs now. They are like human beings and they can interact with you. But the truth is, it will never be human being,
Mm.
right? It can keep getting advanced, but remember, it's still humans that are building it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sort of like that's why there's rise in value as tasks get automated. So what you are just trying to do is things that are more strenuous as a human being to do, you're just trying to give it to AI to do it in a faster, efficient way because then you can then focus on higher things,
Mm.
right? Then another thing is depth and credential, right? I would say one real variable strength is around data, cloud, cybersecurity, because now the more AI we are having, the cybersecurity space also is having a lot to deal with because
True.
there are a lot of introduced new threats, new
Mm.
threats that are coming up that the more the technology space is advancing. So there will always be strength in those areas: data, cloud, cybersecurity, product design, all of those things. So
True.
I would say that a certificate sort of like opens a door for you. So you can go to all different kinds of platforms just to learn. So sometimes don't just do certification because you want to improve your accolades to show that you have. Actually do it because you want to know. Like I've seen people go through trainings, they will just go through so that they will get to the point where they get certified, but they have actually not gotten the knowledge that they needed to get from that training. So it's not just about the certificate. That's what I was talking about. It's you. You are what we stand out. What you know cannot be taken away from you. But what you don't know you don't know. Do you understand? So a certificate can open the door, but you have to like it's your ability, your demonstrated ability that keeps you in a room. That like I told you that sometimes it might not be the most qualified that gets employed, but trust me, who keeps the job is someone that shows competence on a day to day. You can get employed and still be told to go if you are not keeping, doing what you are supposed to do right.
Yes.
So
But
collect
this,
proof, not just badges or certificates.
I have a little concern.
Okay.
So, from the skills you mentioned about three or four.
Data, cloud, cybersecurity, product design, something like that.
All of them kind of gears towards sciences, technology, you know. So what happened to those currently just getting admission or writing exams currently and they are studying history, those kind of courses?
So, if we are to be realistic with ourselves, there will always be some fields that have less, I don't want to use the word prospects, but let's go with that, than others. Now, it doesn't mean that they are not relevant, but it just means that the market for it is not as large as others. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Um, Now it just means that the market for it is not as large as others, right? For example,
Yeah.
there are still museums, there are still tour guides, meaning history will always be relevant. There are still TVs, shows. There are still networks, that people still need to be presenters. People still read the news. Do you understand? All those things will always be there. But whether you like it or not, the the market for it is not as vast as some others, right? So that's why
Yeah.
when you are in that market, you must ensure that you stand out. Because if you are so much in that small space of market, it will be harder for you to, succeed. Because, for example, let's say it only require 10 employees and you are 100 or you are 1,000. So you must ensure that you are not just a historian, or you are a historian with a touch of flair. So we're in a technological space and all of that. So find a way to introduce the current, you know, um, the current technology of what is happening and find a way to introduce those things in what you are doing. Because it's the what, in fact, there are already places where it is an android that gives you tour, not a human being. It's an android that tells you history. For example, it's just pack everything to tell you the history of Nigeria, for example. Like if you go to ChatGPT now, right? And when was Nigeria this one? Well, can you give me the last 20 years and something? It's going to tell you. So you as a
Mm-hmm.
historian, what's the difference between if I just want to know, I just go to ChatGPT and I just know it? Do you understand? So you must try to stand out in one way or the other if you if you
Mm.
are pursuing those feeds, because those feeds that will still always be relevant. But the problem always is that the market is small.
Yeah.
Like
And
for
the community
example,
is like
there are
big.
social sciences. There are I have a friend that did agric that is currently in IT. So going to school sometimes is not just about trying to learn skill. Going to school means that you are malleable, you can be taught, you can do this, you can do that, and whatever field you find yourself later on in life, you can also learn and relearn. Don't be rigid. Don't be so rigid because the
Mm.
market doesn't give you room for you to be too rigid.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm really watching the time and I apologize.
It's
Um,
okay.
we have one question on the comment section from
Okay.
Abraham's very own. He's saying, or he said, are employers comfortable with candidates using AI tools during the application process? And where should the line be drawn? Because anything with AI in it can be noticed easily these days. That's very true.
So, yes, they are comfortable, but it depends on how you use it. There are ethical usage of AI. This is what I was talking about when you do AI trainings, right? When you actually learn how to use it. For example, people can use ChatGPT to, like, for I can go through some LinkedIn and I will tell you the one that ChatGPT did and the one that someone did by themselves, or the one that is a mix of ChatGPT and themselves,
Hmm.
right?
True.
Because AI is supposed to help you, not replace you. So if you are showing the employer that it's replacing you, why should they employ you?
Hmm.
That's what I was telling you. It's not you versus AI, it's you with AI. So, for example, they know that you are going to use AI tools to refine your CV, but
Okay.
the details of what is in your CV has to speak to you individually, meaning what you are just using AI to do is to help you rephrase some things, is to help you polish it in such a way that is more professional than how you are just expressing it, right? Like everything I've said today, I've said it. right? If there was a
Mm-hmm.
transcriber that is helping me transcribe all these things, I could take everything and then tell ChatGPT or tell Claude or tell, any other generative AI to just help me refine this thing to make it a presentation note. But it's my
Mm.
words. It's what
Yeah.
I said. So it's not the AI that is helping me get things to say. It is what I said. So most of the times, what people are doing is that they will just tell ChatGPT, I'm a software tester, just help me build CV that shows this. You just see responsibilities. It's going to give you a generic thing. It's not going to speak to you,
Mm.
to your value. So they will know if you just use the AI to just help you coin responsibilities, or if you actually just use it to refine your values and your results and your impact. So that's where the line is crossed. Use it to refine you, to communicate better, but the same you that doesn't necessarily change your underlying self, and that won't come tomorrow. Sometimes people go to interviews and they don't even know what was in their CV. So you've seen an employer asking him, I saw in your CV that you did, you do not be happy joining the employer to look at the CV to see what it said. So
That's
AI should
crazy.
not replace you, should work with you.
Yes. Hmm.
So that's where you kind of like draw the line.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered the person's question. I hope I did.
Abraham Verion, please confirm. Anyways, uh, he has two other questions here. Can
Okay.
I just take them? Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. That's fine.
Okay. There's lots of emphasis on becoming AI fluent, but AI comes at a cost. Not everyone can afford paid AI tools. He said yes, you answered it and
Okay.
brilliantly too.
Okay.
Around very, you're enjoying this too much. Oh. Okay, let me start the question again. There's a lot of emphasis on becoming AI fluent, but AI comes at a cost. Not everyone can afford paid AI tools, premium subscriptions, or AI powered gadgets. How do we ensure that AI doesn't widen the gap between those who can afford these technologies and those who can't?
I think I said something about this earlier. There's a reality check where you just know the category of what you belong to. But that's also where you have your networking, your communication. See, for example, I'm currently using a paid Claude AI, but I'm not even the one that paid for it. I'm using someone's own. It's not like I
Hmm.
cannot afford it all. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But because of the
Yeah.
network that I have, for example, there was a time where I had YouTube Premium. I wasn't the one that paid for it. I was just added as a family to someone else's premium. So your networking is important. The people you have around you is important. Don't choose a circle that is just your mm, let me not be offensive. So don't choose a circle that is just like you. Like on every circle, I don't know, Esther, when we were in school, there's something I used to say then. I would say that at every stage, have someone ahead of you and have someone below you. Someone ahead of
Hmm.
you is always going to help you to try to push to always go up. Someone below you is going to continue to push you because you don't want someone below to come to be at the same level as you. So you always need to be improving so that you can keep having to mentor someone below you. Then someone above you will keep trying to go up so that you also can be mentored. Do you understand what I'm saying? So your
Yes, ma'am.
network is important. So yes, is the truth. Not everybody can afford so much, but there are a lot of the free aspect as well. So you get competence in the free versions. Get I don't have a premium chat GBT. It's the free one I use, but it's the premium cloud I have, right? So you get competence with the free versions. There are so many tools. Trust me, there are so many tools. So get competence in that. Then create networks, create relationships for those that end up having see if you can be part of their circle that you can just benefit from those things. But don't create relationships because of that. Like I said, create genuine relationship first, then it can keep growing. But yeah, that's basically how you can't do this life alone. But at the same time, you are on your own. But you
True.
can't do it alone. But you are on your own in a way.
Hey,
So
big.
So the free versions, get competent in those areas. There are free YouTube videos now that can teach you a lot of stuff. If for those that cannot afford Udemy or Coursera, right? They are free. In fact,
Yeah.
there are times where Microsoft do some free certification and trainings, like
Yes.
their Azure. There are sometimes they do free vouchers. Take advantage of those moments. Do you understand what I'm saying? Get competence even in the free versions of ChatGPT, the free versions of Claude, just that sometimes they will have limit of time you can use it and all of that. But gain competence in the free one while you, of course, aspire to see if you can have networks that will help you gain entrance to the premium ones.
Premium ones.
That's the
Thank you
wisdom I
very
can
much.
provide.
Ah, you can't do it
Yeah.
alone, but you're on your own.
Yeah. No, you can't do life alone, but somewhat you're on your own. I don't want to go into
Okay.
that, but yeah, I hope.
Someone sent a message to me via WhatsApp that they would like to know how your process of express entry was. So please, can you just give us the step by step?
Jesus. Um, I sort of had a PDF that I created where because I got a lot of people always coming to ask me about it. So it got to a point that I became exhausted in responding to it all the time. So I created like a template PDF that just sort of like help people have of course, I don't know what the current thing is now because the rules keep changing, but at least it has like a foundational template of the steps and the things. So maybe I'll send it to you and then you can reshare.
Thank you.
But the first thing, if you want to do express entry, the first thing you want to do first of all is to use the CRS calculator. So what that does for you is that it helps you to estimate what your points will be based on your current standing. So you are going to be filling in your age, your maybe your career, your education. So CRS calculator, you can just browse it to show you. So you just fills in stuff and then it will give you the summation of what that amounts to. So that gives you an idea that because you're going to put like what's it called, tentative IELTS. If you don't have IELTS already, you're going to put like assuming you score this particular so in IELTS. What is your score going to be, right? So it's going
Yeah.
to give you that. So that's the first thing you want to do. Then because that also gives you an idea of what does the express entry actually need for you to stand out. So you see the different things that are relevant to build your point. So that's the first thing you want to get acquainted with. Then your IELTS is very important, of course. Your career is important. Your education is important. If you get to have someone a relative abroad, like a sibling, that helps you because that gives you like 15 points, right? So that's important. If you don't, it's also okay because I know people that don't have siblings and they are here. I know people that have siblings and they are here. So it's okay. Don't be sad about that.
Okay. Please,
Um,
can you be specific? Must the sibling be in Canada, or it doesn't matter if it's in Canada or not?
that's to be in Canada now.
Okay.
You are coming to Canada, they should consider someone in another country. It's Canada, yeah, it's Canada. If you have a sibling in Canada, for some province, they will even be specific to in that province. So
Hmm.
but yeah,
Okay.
just get acquainted with the CRS calculator to know your current standing. But the major aspect that you can really control in terms of to increase your point is your IELTS and your age. As you get to 30, your your point is reducing by 5.
Hmm.
So the earlier you do it, the better for you.
Hmm.
So your age, your IELTS, meaning if you want to aim for the highest IELTS, like each of the sections of IELTS, like the reading, the writing, all of they have maximum, like the minimum point that will get you to your maximum score. So you just aim for those kind of, the maximum so that you get the full, I think it's 100 points or something for IELTS. So that you get the full points in IELTS. Then if at the end of the day, maybe your score is still quite low, then you can try and do French. French gives you another point. There's someone now that I'm pushing her. She's Nigerian, but she's currently trying to learn French because she's above 30 and so she's on the disadvantage. So she needs to get herself. So she's trying to learn French to see if it can help her. Nothing comes easy, you know. Like I said, you can't do life alone, but you're on your own. So, like now, you can't do life alone. I'm giving you information, right? That means you can't
Yeah.
actually do this thing alone. But at the end of the day, you are the one that work with the information to get what you want. So you're on your own in that part. Do you understand? So that's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, if I'm very own, being above 30 now, it has its disadvantage, but the good part is you have other means to balance your score. So,
When you're above 30,
yes.
when you're approaching 30, Um, the thing is, it's 3 to I think it's 3 to 3 years and above career this thing. So it's not like if you have 10 years you have more score. No, it's 3 years. So if your career like in 3 years in your professional space or 5 years, I think it's 3 or 5. I don't know, sure, but like 3 years in your professional space, even though you are 10 years, 20 years, the same point it will give you. So
Mm.
so that will not change anything. So your age is actually a disadvantage. So that's why you have to, if you know it's God's will for you and it's your plan, it's God's plan for you and all of that, you want to, attack that, try and get yourself ready on time because the earlier the better age wise.
It is well, oh, we get there. All right, Ma. So one more question, then we call it.
You've been saying that since, but I'm listening.
No, now I'm serious.
Okay.
I promise I'll stick to it now. And I don't want to forget this question because it's a very important question. Just give me a
Okay.
second. Okay. So, from your own experience, what were the three non-negotiable things you did that made international opportunities open up to you? Let me reframe the question a
Okay.
bit because I want to know more than what you did. I want to know who you had to become to make sure that these opportunities came to you or had positive impact.
Um, will I say opportunities came to me? Okay. So before I switched to software testing, for example, I was still within Into Switch then in Nigeria, and I was in the operations unit, and I was doing settlement. I was working more with Excel and all of that, right?
Okay.
But when I was working, so like I said, know yourself, right? Know your worth and your value. I knew that I was above what I was doing, but of course, fresh out of school, it was good. But I saw an opportunity within that space where I wanted us to automate those things I was doing with Excel so that I don't have to be doing it by myself. There were already some stuff that was going on within the company. They were trying to do that, but they got tired. So it was just sitting in one place. So while I was doing the work I was doing, on one side, I told my manager, okay, I would like to look at these things people were doing before. I would like to pick it up again. Let's see if we can, work on it. So while I was doing my work that they are paying me for, I was using my own extra time to work with my manager and the devs and all of that. Now I was not a software tester yet, but I was already working as a software tester. I didn't even know where God was taking me to yet.
Mm.
I was already doing all that, right? Then eventually the whole system got automated. At a point, I was do the manual, I do the automation because I was doing a test run side by side. And before everything went live, right now, you need to switch settlement is automated. So they don't do it manually anymore. But what am I trying to say? Proving competent is a non-negotiable, right?
Mm.
I because like I said, employers don't want you because they just want to be good to you.
Mhm.
They want you to come and help their business thrive. So if you don't have something to give, why should they have you? Or should they keep, if they even had you, why should they keep you if you are not consistently proving competence? Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's a non-negotiable. So it means evidence, not adjectives. Like um you could show the work, not just claim that you have the skill. Like I can tell you I'm a
True.
software tester, I check quality, blah 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 blah. But when the time come, I can show that I have the skill to show you what I just said. So that
Mm.
proving competent is a non-negotiable, right?
Yes.
Now, remember
Yeah.
I said earlier, another non-negotiable is that impact. If you
Mm.
go to my LinkedIn page, you will go to the references. I had my former bosses, my former colleagues that did a lot of, before I came to Canada, that did a lot of references, and they did it in a very personal level. Like you could say that, you could see that what they are writing is not because they just want to say something, it's because they know this person, and this person has shown this and this based on their work experience with this person.
Mm.
So someone that goes to my LinkedIn and see references that my bosses, my colleagues, my peers, my junior that have written, different people, they know that it's not just because someone wants to. In fact, there were times I was asking for reference and someone asked me that I should help them create like a sample of what I want them to write so that they will use it. I did not. Because the reason I
Mm.
was asking for reference was for you to be real, to say something on your own words, not on mine. So for those that
True.
asked me to help, I did not. So impact. How are you impacting people? For example, I told you the first place I worked in Canada that I changed the perception they had about people that they employ from Nigeria to employ people from Nigeria. I changed
Mm.
that. So it's not just about you, you're also carrying a nation with you. So impact
Mm.
is a non-negotiable. Sometimes the people that are known, like maybe not up to 100 people, for example, know me, or 1,000 people. The people that you know is President Tinubu or his son Sheyi or whatever, whatever, whatever. But the truth is that you as an individual, you're also carrying a nation with you. The World Cup is what will show you a good example of that. How footballers, 11 people on the pitch are actually carrying a whole nation in the world. So you as an
Mm.
individual, you're carrying a nation with you. Meaning, if you go somewhere, let's say you're abroad and then you got to work and then you are working and you're not showing competence, what you're actually also showing them is that Nigerians are not to be trusted in terms of their competence. So you must try and ensure that it's not just you are carrying. That's what I mean by you're on your own, but at the same time, not on your own, because you are carrying others that you don't even know behind you. That's why the former Nigerian anthem we say, "We will not forget the what our heroes past, something, something." I don't even forget the anthem now. Not forget our heroes. Anyways, yeah, because the independence we enjoy today is because of people that carry that we don't even know.
True.
We heard of them, but we don't necessarily know them. So yes, you are carrying a nation with you. So impact is a non-negotiable. Anywhere you are. At InterSwitch, I was doing my best. When I left InterSwitch and went to somewhere else, I was doing my best. That was before I left Nigeria. Even in my NYSC, because I was lecturing in Kano State University, I did my best. In Kano, I made impact. Till today, I still speak with people in Kano. I have an NGO in Kano, and I still do some stuff. Even the HOD of Kano State, today, till today, they are Muslims and the rest, but we still talk. So impact should be a non-negotiable. And impact is not just about what you get, it's about what you give,
Mm.
right? Then that is then what brings you to have a findable brand. You then become a brand. For example, I'm a brand and it's
Mm.
a non-negotiable. Like there are people probably on this call. I don't know how many people are here, but there are people here that probably don't know me before, right? But based on some things they've heard, they could probably infer about this person. So you have a
Mm.
brand. Your name should tell a story before any interview. Your profile and your portfolio should already make your first case. Remember, your profile, your LinkedIn, and your CV are your first interview. So, how do you
Mm.
want it to represent you? So, those are the three things I will tell you that they are non negotiables. You have to have proven competence, you have impact, not duties, then you have to be a brand. Because recruiters don't always choose the most qualified, they choose the most convincing, and evidence is what convinces them.
Hmm.
That's
Thank
it.
you very much. Hmm. I'm trying to take them in. Thank you very much, Mark. It has been an amazing time here with you today. And
My pleasure.
I'm happy that we are not just going with the knowledge and experience you have shared with us. We are also going to get something extra from you. You've already said you shared the PDF. for how to apply for express entry. So I'm going to share it, and I'm sure it's going to be helpful to a lot of people. Thank you very much, Ma.
Yeah.
Um,
Just before you go, sorry, there's just one, just to close, there's just one thing I want to say.
okay.
I want everybody listening. I understand, like, Nigeria is tough. Everywhere is tough, actually. There are people here that are having tougher time than those in Nigeria, trust me. So yeah, everywhere can be tough. But I want you to understand that you should not build your career around living. Don't build your career around relocating. If it comes, good. If you desire it and you want to go, that's fine. I'm not saying you should not aspire for it. But don't build your career around living. Build it around becoming globally valuable. So that means wherever you are, you can be noticed one way or the other. Little smokes is what makes a fire. So don't just always be so focused. My mates, those who graduated together, 50% of my classmates don't move. Not all of them are having fun, right? So don't build your career around living. Build it around becoming global and the way globally valuable. And the way you can do that is by ensuring that even at the place that you are, even though it's that one company that has just 20 employees, or is that company that has just 10 employees, be valuable. Prove your competence there, show your impact there. Always have this spirit of giving, not just taking, you
Hmm.
know. So just do that. And when the opportunities come, when they come, you will find out that you were ready for them because you saw every space as a chessboard, not just the destination. So there is no single blueprint of, this, that, 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 but there are consistent principles that make you stand out. And this is it. Don't build it about just, I want to jackpot, I want to jackpot. I just want to say that so that you keep that in mind.
Thank you very much, Ma. This is actually very important because there is this notion that's been going around for a very long time. They make it seem like until you travel, you don't really have this um, fulfillment. Traveling is part of being fulfilled. And yes, it is part of it, not the main part. And not everybody has to relocate to make it in life. Some people will make it here and then can just travel for vacation and come back. Not everybody has to leave their homeland. But I don't know why it's so rampant. It has actually been like that for a very long time. But I'm very happy that we have people like you that has this very sound understanding, and I hope a lot of people have learned a lot from this webinar today. Thank you so much once again, Ma. And on behalf of the president of the Nigerian Student and Youth Association, Ambassador Lawrence Ikehi, and the whole National Executive of Nigerian Student and Youth Association, we would like to say a very big thank you to you. Thank you for making Nigerians proud. You are our global ambassador as it is right now, um, paving the way for other Nigerians coming after you. It's something that is so inspirational. And my prayer is that the Lord will keep on giving you the grace to do even more, bigger and better. And so shall it be.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's
Amen.
been for having you
Thank
here
you.
today. And I think that's all for now. We've taken a lot of your time. I know this was not what I promised you. Please
It's
forgive.
okay.
Thank you so much, man. And thank you
No
everyone that
problem.
joined this live. Thank you for those who stayed from the beginning to the end. I am so grateful to everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a thing or two from this webinar. If you have more questions and you want me to pass it on to Pastor and you want me to pass it, let me just say it like that. You want me to pass it to Pastor Mesty? Just let me know. I'll do the needful. And if you know you need the PDF document, you can also chat me up and I'll do the needful. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you again, Ma. And it's bye bye for now. Bye, Ma. Have a
All right.
wonderful day.
No problem. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
I will. Bye.